Welcome back. So Dr. Ariana Love is back with us again with a horrific discovery. She says that she has a patent proof that COVID PCR tests are actually not tests at all, but that they're linked with human cloning technology and a whole lot of other things that you would hope were science fiction. But Dr. Love is here with us to say they're not science fiction, are they?
Right. This is absolutely real. As freaky. I mean, yeah, it's real. The PCR kits have never been about testing for COVID, as people were told. It is about cloning. They are cloning devices, and this has been admitted to by the NIH. It's on their website in a study entitled "Molecular Cloning: Polymerase Chain Reaction: An Educational Guide for Cellular Engineering." So I encourage people to look that up and read it. It confirms everything that I've been saying and documenting on my website. There are patents as well, and the patents do say on the PCR kits, they do say that it's cloning technology. They use that exact word. So here, this study on the NIH website, it explains everything on how the cloning works using PCR kits. So, for example, it talks about vector DNA sequences and fluorescent protein. Basically, all of the kits that are cloning devices, they're using the fluorescent protein. That comes from insects. You know, it's the firefly, the green fluorescent protein. The technology, they say it's very fast and efficient. And they're using vectors that get cut into pieces. Those are the direct words, that messenger RNA vectors are cut into pieces. And that means that in this particular study, it references parasites and worms. So these are the carriers of the messenger RNA. They get cut into pieces inside the body, and that is used to transfect the human genome. The DNA carried from these microorganisms are then used to change humans, to clone humans. So it also says that the vector DNA is prepared in E. coli. So that is the base. They talk about toxic genes. In some of the PCR kits, they are using toxic genes. They admit to that. And then also they talk about, okay, so what is the testing for? It's for genetic sequencing to determine how far along people are in the cloning process. And you can actually order these DNA sequences online. There's Adgene is offering them, and Thermo Scientific and Biolabs. They literally will send it to you. You order it and they send it to you via email.
And what do you get in this email?
Well, I haven't done it, but that's what the website says, is that you can order it and they'll send it to you in an email. It's the sequence. It's because they're using artificial genetic sequences, right? And they have to delete certain genes in the human genome, and then they code whatever the messenger RNA is coded with. And we know all of them are coded with this green fluorescent protein.
All right. So what is the goal? What is the goal here?
They are changing the human species. Attempting to genetically modify humans and treating humans like animals. And basically by using this, they use many different species, but in particular, the green fluorescent protein, which comes from the firefly, that means they are actually turning people into hybridized humans with insect DNA. So they are transfecting, because we know from the study out of Sweden recently that the mRNA is transfecting and transcribing through reverse transcriptase into the human genome. That means people are becoming part insect. They are going to carry then and insect DNA. I don't know, maybe that's why.
So is this actively happening right now, or is this a plan for the future?
No, this is happening now. This is the purpose of the PCR kit. It's not a test.
Okay, so if somebody has tested themselves, first of all, we know that the test, even if it is a test, 97% false positives. They want everybody to believe that they have COVID-19. But you're saying that that's not what this is at all, that this is for this. So let's go with this. If somebody has administered themselves or have been administered a PCR test, are they all the same? Who holds this patent? Where does this stuff come from?
From what I can tell, all of the major brands are cloning technology. They all say cloning inside the patents for the PCR kits.
Okay,
Many of
so
them are made in China.
Nancy from down the street goes in and she gets administered a PCR test 2 or 3 times because she's a paranoid schizophrenic and she's a hypochondriac. So she gets this stupid failed thing shoved up her nose. What's happening to her? And if she procreates, is that affecting the fetus that she's carrying and ultimately the baby that she delivers?
Right, absolutely. So I have clients that have been riddled with parasites, and not only parasites, but also these sort of Morgellons like hydrogels. They're also called Marcelles, and I have a study on that as well. They're laced on the PCR kit. So this is self-replicating nanotechnology, right? And these parasitic organisms are genetically modified. So they're riddled with parasites and they can feel them crawling under their skin. I kid you not. And these are people who never took the jab. They just had a bunch of the PCR swabs up their nose. They can detox. It's very important for people to understand that it is possible to detox. I know there are some very famous doctors that have said, no way, it's not possible. And this is mark of the beast technology. And they have shamed people into believing that it is impossible to detox. And that is very damaging, because I've even had a client recently whose husband committed suicide because he listened to these doctors and he thought there's no way to get this technology out of his body. So I just wanted to put that out there. People can go to Adgene. There is type in Adgene plasmid cloning by PCR, type in BioLabs PCR cloning method, and they're going to explain how this is being done.
So the NIH is admitting to this cloning technology.
Yes, absolutely. There's another NIH study about cross-species genomics that I want to talk a little bit about. It's entitled Targeted Genome Editing Across Species Using ZFNs and TALENs. So they have entire genome sequences, it says in the study, available for numerous species. Now, we know they've already been crossbreeding humans and monkeys, humans and pigs, humans and mice in the US, in China, maybe other places, possibly Ukraine, at the US biolabs there. I mean, this is nothing new. They have spliced animals and humans together. They're now treating humans like animals. And in this particular study I just mentioned, they are using worms. It says they are using worms as carriers for the messenger RNA. They are transfected first with the green fluorescent protein, insect DNA, and then they are the vectors. And in particular, they are targeting the REX1 on the X chromosome for deletion. What this does, to answer your question, is it causes their offspring, if they can have children, and there's a very small percentage you can, and that's specified in the study, their offspring are mutants. That's the exact word they use.
Who's they? And who uses that word? Who says that they're mutants?
NIH.
Tony Fauci's NIH.
It's right there on the website. Yeah, absolutely. And it says also that they can create a hermaphrodite sex by deleting this REX1 on the X chromosome. So they can play with the sex of people and of the next generation. They can make people completely without sex, like not hermaphrodite, but what is it? Androgynous. And so they can do all of these things now. And there's one more study I wanted to mention on the NIH website. It's entitled Core Cross-Linked Fluorescent Worm-like Micelles for Glucose-Mediated Drug Delivery. These micelles are worm-like. These are the hydrogels made from graphene oxide for drug delivery that have been found on the PCR swabs, on masks, etc. So it's all right here. It's out in the open. This is not a secret.
So for everybody who tries to discredit Dr. Ariana Love and says, "Oh, this woman is nuts," there's the studies right there at the NIH website. They are telling you, Tony Fauci's NIH is telling you that they are cloning you and turning your children into adronomous mutants. Insane. For bringing this to our attention, or a hermaphrodite, yeah, or a part human, part chicken, or part human,
They
part
can do anything they want.
cricket. Yeah.
If the
This
person
is a
survives.
very sick
Survival.
time. They are deleting God's creation is what they are trying to do, and eradicating Christianity completely. Dr. Ariana Love, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Stu. Good to see you again.
For the first time in a millennia, a famine of biblical proportion is hitting the earth, and it's by design. War has created scarcity. Fertilizer production has been wiped out.
The price of fertilizer is up 128%.
Food processing plants are exploding. Herds of cows are being massacred and buried.
This is a very abnormal event.
The Great Reset demons have created the crisis, but a generation of great resistors following King Jesus have the solution.
HeavensHarvest.com. Get there right now.
Prepare for the worst by trusting the best. HeavensHarvest.com has a delicious plan to conquer starvation. It's real food, high quality, tastes great.
It's actually really good.
Trust Heaven's Harvest today. Order food for the year and a bucket of heirloom seeds. Affordable, available, ready for the fight ahead. HeavensHarvest.com.
Stress, anxiety, low mood, sleepless nights means early grave, period. How many of you are dealing with additional stress and anxiety today? How many of you have ever looked at your kids and said, did you get enough sleep last night? Or looked at your significant other, your spouse, your husband, your wife, and said, you're kind of crabby. Maybe you should go take a nap. Yeah, because a lack of sleep affects your mood negatively. But it also affects hormones, weight gain, all kinds of other factors that negatively impact you. So if you're finding yourself staring at the ceiling only to still be awake hours later staring at your phone, that is not good for you. If you're waking up in the morning feeling like you didn't get enough sleep, you didn't get restful sleep. Sleepless nights lead to an early grave. Stop it. 75% of Americans deal with a magnesium deficiency. So go to magbreakthrough.com/Stu Peters, magbreakthrough.com/Stu Peters. Try this simple bedtime routine that works like a charm for me and helps me to sleep like a baby every night. All it takes is a glass of water and 2 safe and natural magnesium breakthrough capsules 30 minutes before hitting the pillow. magbreakthrough.com/Stu Peters. Get 10% off when you use the promo code StuPeters10 at checkout plus free shipping. magbreakthrough.com/Stu Peters.